My name's Davida Shinsky, and the title of my program is Live Without Limits, Reach Personal Success on a Daily Basis. Our purpose is to help you with your relationships, with setting goals that are achievable. So we talk about mental health issues, psychology issues, anything that keep you from achieving your goals and help you understand how to live the best quality of life possible within your limits. And today's presentation is titled Emotional Abuse. Is it happening to you? 7 signs on how you can recover as a new TikTok trend gains self esteem. Users jump on video to claim that they've decided to gaslight their partner who is in the same video, often immediately asks, "You're going to gaslight me?" The partner who just claimed that they were going to says something along the lines of, "What? No, of course not. I never said that." While humorous for some, for others, this scenario rings all too true. It's a classic example of what gaslighting involves, which is a form of emotional abuse. I grew up in a home where there was emotional abuse constantly meted out by my mother. Sad part is that's the only way she knew how to talk to someone. She was very petty, very jealous of what other people had, and the only way it made her feel better about herself was to constantly put the next person down. And also, she did it because she didn't want to be alone in her old age. And the sad part is, the only person she was really hurting was herself. Emotional abuse can involve a variety of tactics, intentional or not. It can make the person on the receiving end feel confused, isolated, controlled, trapped, even scared, while in some scenarios, both partners may be responsible. Emotional abuse, other situations have one partner gaining control over another. It also might not occur in just romantic relationships. It can happen between family members, co workers, friends, and anyone else. So, what are the signs and how can you heal after emotional abuse? What are the 7 signs of emotional abuse? Emotional abuse is confusing. Unlike physical abuse, there aren't any obvious scars, scratches, or injuries. The hurt is caused, takes place beneath the surface, manifesting in a variety of ways, and more on this later on. So, how do you know if you're suffering emotional abuse? Here are 7 signs. Name calling. Let's start with the obvious. They call you stupid, loser, wimp, or other derogatory words. They may even try to use these words as terms of endearment. But if you've told them to stop, or you've expressed how it hurts your feelings or makes you uncomfortable, this is a sign of emotional abuse. It's not okay, and it's not fostering a healthy relationship. My mother constantly told me that I was going to fail. And yes, I have a disability, and the disability affects how I take things in. It also affects the what how well I actually learned something. And when you figure that in the classroom, teachers teach in a cookie cutter way and not to the specific needs of an individual, my grades never showed what I was truly capable of doing. And telling me that I was constantly going to fail was not a way to talk to me or even to anyone else. So, understanding that and then also yelling and screaming. Okay, so they didn't punch or hit you, but using words to make you feel small and worthless is a pretty clear indicator of some kind of control or power dynamic that is happening. And this can also go hand in hand with punching the wall or getting suddenly angry. Dismissiveness. They dismiss what's important to you. For instance, maybe you're talking about a movie that you loved, and their response is, who cares? Or maybe they roll their eyes and shake their head or ignore you. Patronizing, name calling isn't the only way to make someone feel small. Patronizing involves belittling you by saying things like, I know your small brain can't handle this. The goal is often to make you feel less than. Gaslighting. Yep, gaslighting is a sign of emotional abuse. It's denying that they said or did something to make you feel like you're going crazy or to show to others or both of you that you are losing your mind. Basically, this encompasses anything that makes you question your sense of reality. Obviously, questioning things is good sometimes, but not when you know you didn't say or do something, or you know that they said or did something. Facts shouldn't be questioned. My sister constantly will say that she'll do something that she never intends to do. My mother did the same thing. So, understanding when people do that to you and then they constantly criticize you, that is emotional abuse. Joking at your expense. Okay, there is some nuance here. When they put you down or insult you, they immediately clap down with, I'm just joking. Even though it wasn't a joke, you might wonder whether you're overreactive or you may even feel embarrassed by your feelings. Isolation. In many cases of emotional abuse, the abuser isolates the person from their family and friends. This allows them to gain control easier and without question. So, what does emotional abuse do to someone? The effects of emotional abuse on a person can be devastating. Some common short term mental impacts include feeling lonely and isolated, doubling or doubting yourself, shame, confusion, low confidence or self esteem, anxiety or fear, interacting with other people, avoidance, powerlessness, and hopelessness. In the long term, emotional abuse can further lead to depression, neuroticism, chronic stress and anxiety, physiological changes such as heart palpitations, body aches, relationship and attachment issues, a disconnect of emotions, other mental health conditions. In close relationships, more specifically, Emotional abuse may lead to codependency, trust issues, abandonment, anxiety, trouble being your true and authentic self. It can take time to heal after this type of relationship or situation. It's important to lead with self compassion and seek out help. With that in mind, here is how you can recover after an emotional abusive situation. So, how do you recover? Healing after emotional abuse is a difficult journey, but not an impossible one. You will feel like you again. At the beginning, it all starts with recognizing that you were emotionally abused. This can be one of the hardest parts. We don't particularly like to think badly of those we love and care about. It's also important to leave the abuser, whether that means moving out of your home, ending a relationship, or finding a new job. This gives you the freedom to move on and to heal. During this time, seek out professional help. Let your loved ones know that you may need more reassurance and support right now. It's hard, but it's what a support system is for. If a therapist can help you overcome negative thought patterns you've developed during this time, as well as help you find self care tactics that quell anxiety and help you feel good again. On the top of all of this, it's important to acknowledge that you are worthy. This means knowing that you're worth and knowing that you deserve to eat healthy, work out regularly, get a good night's sleep, and generally get the basics of good physical and mental health down pat. From there, you can learn what healthy relationships look like and how to foster them. You get to determine the boundaries of what you'll stand for and what you won't. You finally get to decide where the line is for yourself. And yes, this will all take time, but you'll get there. Remember, feelings are temporary. Things always tend to come out on the flip side. So take your time. Emotional abuse is never easy to recover from, but you have the incredible power to do so. You can get to decide your worth, not anyone else. Therapist and author Shannon Alder says this really well. The only person that deserves a special place in your life is someone that never made you feel like you were an option in theirs. And this is so important to remember that, especially when you're dealing with a family that they themselves do not know how to communicate effectively and be supportive. The one thing that I found was that my mother was never going to change. And I had to get as far away from her as I could in order to preserve my own mental health.